You've spent your whole life being told that if aliens exist, they're out there somewhere. A distant planet, a radio signal from a galaxy we'll never visit. Scientists have been searching for decades, listening to the sky, scanning for movement, spending billions pointing telescopes at the dark. But no one thought to look down. There is a creature living on this planet right now, not on Mars, not in some far-off solar system, right here on Earth, that glows in complete darkness, fuses its body permanently to a mate, dissolves its own organs as a reproductive strategy, and has survived for 130 million years in conditions that would kill you in seconds. If you found this thing on another planet, every newspaper on Earth would run it on the front page. Instead, it's been drifting quietly at the bottom of your ocean this whole time. It's called an anglerfish, and it is, without exaggeration, no less alien than anything we've ever imagined. To understand how strange this creature is, start with something normal, a goldfish, maybe 6 inches long, round body, familiar shape. A salmon, 2 feet, maybe 3. These are fish. You recognize them. They look like what a fish is supposed to look like. Now picture something the size of a volleyball, mostly mouth, teeth that curve inward so that anything it catches physically cannot swim back out, a stomach that's nearly transparent, a glowing lantern dangling off its forehead like a broken antenna. This thing doesn't chase prey. It doesn't need to. It just drifts in total darkness, 1,000 feet below the surface, and waits for something to come toward the light. That is an anglerfish. And the more you look at it, the less it resembles anything from this world. The glow isn't the anglerfish's own. That's the first thing. That lantern, technically called an esca, is hollow at the tip, and inside it lives a colony of bioluminescent bacteria called Vibrio fischeri. These bacteria produce light through a chemical reaction, and the anglerfish farms them. It recruits another living organism to generate the light it needs to survive. No other fish does this. It's less like biology and more like something an engineer would design if the brief was, build a lure that works in permanent darkness. The anglerfish didn't evolve in the world you know. It evolved in the mesopelagic and bathypelagic zones, depths between 600 and 6,000 feet, where there is no sunlight, where the pressure is hundreds of times what you feel on the surface, where the temperature barely clears freezing. The ocean at that depth isn't just deep water. It is a different world entirely, with different rules, different physics, different survival logic, and the anglerfish has been operating by those rules for 130 million years. For years, scientists examining deep-sea anglerfish specimens kept finding strange, shriveled lumps attached to the females' bodies, small, parasitic-looking growths. They cataloged them as a separate species for decades. It wasn't until 1922 when Icelandic biologist Bjarni Sæmundsson examined a female with 2 of these growths still fused to her by living tissue that anyone understood what they were looking at. The lumps were males. Here's what actually happens. The male anglerfish is born small, sometimes 100 times smaller than the female, and without a fully developed digestive system. He has one biological purpose. He finds a female using scent, in total darkness, across miles of open ocean. When he finds her, he bites into her skin. His lips fuse to her body. His bloodstream merges with hers. Over the following days, his eyes dissolve. His fins dissolve. His internal organs dissolve. He becomes a permanent attachment, a living reservoir of sperm she can access whenever conditions are right. One female can carry up to 8 fused males at once. There is no other vertebrate on Earth that does this. Not one. Whatever pressure produced this strategy happened in conditions so extreme, so isolated from everything on the surface, that the result looks less like an evolved animal and more like something assembled by a mind that had never seen a fish before. Picture this. You are drifting at 3,000 feet. The water is so dark that darkness feels like the wrong word for it. It's not the absence of light, it's the absence of the concept of light. Your lure pulses softly, and you wait. Something moves toward the glow. You don't rush. You don't chase. The mouth opens and the darkness does the rest. This is not a bad life. This is a life that has worked, without modification, for longer than most life on land has existed. We built radio telescopes to listen for intelligent signals from other galaxies. We sent probes past the edge of the solar system. We wrote equations to calculate the probability of life on distant planets. And at the bottom of our own ocean, a creature with a light growing out of its skull and a husband dissolved into its hip has been circling in the dark since before the dinosaurs went extinct. Maybe the aliens were never out in space. Maybe we just never looked down.